Morning guys, welcome back to the channel. Today on the sunny winter's morning, I'm going to give you guys a quick tour of my 1997 Honda Prelude. So here we go. Alright, so this is the 5th generation of Honda Prelude. It was manufactured from the years 1997 to 2001, and apologies for that glare, it's quite sunny here. And I've owned the car almost 6 years now, from September 2014. Absolutely love this car. It's a joy to drive, and well, here in South Africa, I think it's quite underrated, to be honest. I mean, Civics and Pallards are much more popular in our market, but locally these came with the H22 VTEC, making slightly less power than international models or Japanese models. This is equipped with the H22A4 motor, making 143 kilowatts and about 220 Newton meters of torque. But this is a pretty tricked out vehicle for the year that it came out in. These obviously, like I said, came out in 1997, and my one is modeled from that first production year. In the South African market, they came standard with your glass moonroof or sunroof that has the tilt and slide function. And the reason why it has a tilt and slide is the sunroof is actually too big for the actual roof, so it can't slide inside like some of previous Prelude models. And on the inside, quickly it came standard with your climate controls. So giving you a tour of my Prelude, it's pretty much stock standard from a engine point of view. I haven't opened the engine up. It still hasn't been opened up, but I do have a few personal modifications that I've done on the car, and that'll be your coilover suspension with height and dampening adjustments. I put in a set of, it was K-Sports, organized by Rudy from RC Tuning. Really awesome ride. The one thing in our market is, for Preludes, it's quite hard to get parts, and you generally don't find cheap parts for this car. So when you do find a part, it's going to be on the pricey side. And if you do, like for example, suspensions, you don't get any of the cheap name brands making suspensions for Honda Prelude. I guess there's just not enough examples on the road for them to make. I guess they won't really sell. And yeah, I think global production was just over about 50,000 vehicles. We're unsure of how many came into South Africa, and they all made in Japan. So going back to my personal mods, one of the other items I have fitted, so I'm just opening the bonnet because I have a custom air intake that are sort of inspired by the AEM V2 and built by alright, there we go. This picture of my engine bay. You can see the top mounts of the case coilovers that I was mentioning, and you can obviously stick the pin in there to adjust the dampening. I have it on like 2/3 softer ride because I would generally use a car for everyday driving. I don't race or track it at all, so it would make sense. So here we go. I have the custom air intake bolt. This was done by PRP Garage, along with the exhaust system, which I'm going to show to you guys. There is a K&N cone filter in there, which you can't really see. I like that they blocked it off, made it look neat and OEM. And as you can see, the intake pipe snaking to the back. Alright, I did get the tappet cover painted because it was getting old and the original paint was flaking off, so I got that done also at the same time that the intake was done. Alright, and then from a radiator perspective, the original radiator gave up, so I managed to source a Mishimoto from import parts, and that actually worked out cheaper than buying an OEM one from Honda, so why not? So if we, like I mentioned, I've done the exhaust system. It's a 57mm all the way from the front to the back, in full stainless steel. Let's see if we can try and get a pic from underneath here. Some dust. Alright, okay, it was a bit of a bad shot, didn't really get much, but it ends off in a twin-loop Hytek back box, which maybe you guys can see here, with the Mugen tailpiece. There's a Mugen emblem on the top of the tailpiece there. So yeah, that's some of the mods that I've done. Oh, and one last thing from a, what you can say, performance perspective, is I fitted a UniQ Plus chip from Dastek with a VTEC controller. It was tuned by Ross at RBTS, and he tuned it for efficient delivery of power. So now you have power delivery all the way through the rev range, smooth power delivery. You do hear the crossover into VTEC, but it's not like the power dips before. You actually get my VTEC coming in at about 4,500 RPM, and yeah, it pulls strong until like 7,500, 8,000 RPM. It's still pulling strong. So yeah, I think that's the only mods that I've done from a performance or engine perspective. On the inside of my vehicle, I've kept things standard. I love the interior of a 5th generation Prelude. It's so, if you have to look at the dial cluster or the gauge cluster, it reminds you so much of the old Honda NSX, and I think that's cool, being an iconic Japanese supercar, if you want to call it that. That's quite cool that the 5th generation has that. And it's sort of a traditional dash setup compared to the 4th generation, which was a bit futuristic. They went back to old design cues with the 5th generation Honda Prelude. You can see I have a Sony radio, and I have some sound installed. I also managed to get interior mats done in the American SH spec. So it has the Prelude badge on the driver's side, and you have a Honda badge on the passenger side. Nice plush carpets that I managed to get custom made for the vehicle. And let's give you a look at morning. Alright, in the boot or the trunk, I have a Lightning Audio 5-channel amplifier. that's running a P1 punch subwoofer by Rockford Fosgate with prime 6.75 inch mids on the rear backboard or parcel shelf, whatever you want to call that, and up front I'm running JBL split system with the tweeters mounted in the tweeter spot at the top. And yeah, basically I love the interiors of the 5G. I think they age very well. They don't get beat up and messed up like a lot of other cars do. I think it's made with very high quality materials, and I guess, you know, back in the day when this car came out in 1997, it costed about 200,000 rands in our country, and that was a lot of money. That was Mercedes-Benz money. So I'm sure they didn't make a cheap vehicle. They put effort into as much as possible. So yeah, I think from a wheel perspective, I kept it stock. I love the stock wheels. There were some, when I bought the vehicle, there were some center caps missing, so I had them ordered from Honda dealership, and I got all my center caps on the vehicle. From a tint perspective, I got a 35% smash and grab tint done on the windows, so that works well at keeping the UV rays out of the cabin. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for letting me show you my vehicle. I'm hoping to upload some more videos soon, and yeah, please do subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, give it a share, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers, guys.